Why isn't WikiLeaks a good thing?
For the very same reason that as a lawyer, anybody comes to me as a lawyer expects confidentiality. I would have no business as a lawyer if I didn't uphold that, nor would a doctor, nor would a priest, nor would any other profession. Diplomats are no different. When you work with another government, they have the right to expect that that will be confidential. When a human rights activist works with you as a diplomat, they have the right to expect that that will be confidential because their lives are on the line. That had nothing to do with freedom of information. It had everything to do with a violation of confidentiality, which is criminal in some contexts and deeply damaging in others.
Clay, I think you actually might have tweeted for Assange's defense fund or something.
It wasn't his defense fund. No, it was not Julian's defense fund. It was for WikiLeaks to keep the lights on.
So explain why what Anne-Marie just said is wrong.
Well, I don't disagree with Anne-Marie's analysis. I disagree with the target, which is to say, inasmuch as confidentiality is expected and managed, it's managed by the people who have the clearance, who are asked to keep the secrets. And there we are discussing Bradley Manning, not WikiLeaks. And it's, I think, the kind of slip here in the obvious comparison with the Pentagon Papers is that the people who consistently get lined up are not Ellsberg and Manning, but Ellsberg and Assange. And that, I think, is that's the wrong unit of analysis. That Manning, whatever one thinks of his actions as someone whatever one thinks of his motivations in leaking, had been given secret clearance, had been given access to the CIPRNet, and clearly violated that. The operative case from the Pentagon Papers, I am not a lawyer, but my read of it, I should say, is it's illegal to leak secrets, but it's not illegal to publish leaks. And that it's made even further removed from that by being a foreign national operating outside the United States. So when the extra-legal harassment of WikiLeaks with the removal from the Amazon servers, and I think much more ominously, the removal from Visa and MasterCard's payment systems came along, that looked to me like a lack of due process and a failure of the rule of law, which is terrifying when you're dealing with the media. So when I saw MasterCard pull their support for WikiLeaks, I immediately pulled out my Visa to give WikiLeaks 100 euros and, maybe more importantly, tweeted that I'd done that, because my 100 euros is going to keep the server spinning for maybe another 15 minutes. But my telling 100,000 people that I had done that, that I think had more effect. So, and I don't know how Anne-Marie feels about this, but the tolerance of, and in some cases the enthusiastic participation by some parts of the government, e.g. Senator Lieberman, for harassing WikiLeaks outside of the rule of law. Not saying when Attorney General Holder decides to bring charges, then we will see what's going on. But the attempt to essentially silence someone or silence some site because we didn't like what was there, that is the kind of thing that I think if it had happened in China, we would rightly protest. And it's made doubly complicated by the fact that the vast majority of the world's international financial and large-scale internet systems are essentially within our local jurisdiction, which suggests to me that we have to have an especially careful, right, purer than Caesar's wife kind of attitude towards our treatment here.